Hello there everybody, it's me Leo and welcome back to another Simju Valley Legacy speed build. So today we're working on MARNIE'S ranch and I'm very excited because I actually have such a soft spot for this place and especially the people living here. So this is where the character Marnie lives with her relatives, her adoptive niece Jas, and her nephew Shane. So Marnie, she is the local animal keeper of the valley. She is the only place where you can go to buy your farm animals. So this is where you would go to pretty much buy your cows and your goats and your chickens and your ducks and pretty much everything in between. So she is the person raising the livestock pretty much, and of course, having your farm, you would definitely spend a lot of time coming here. I definitely did, so that's why I have such a soft spot for this place. I also really like the way they developed Marnie's character in Stardew Valley. I think she has one of the funniest interactions with her quote-unquote secret love interest, Lewis, which I don't think is much of a secret because I feel like everybody knows it. But yeah, Marnie also has this really interesting trait where she shelters and quotes-unquote adopts some of her homeless relatives, and one of them is Jas. Now Jas, for the longest time, I've thought was Marnie's illegitimate daughter with Mayor Lewis, but apparently I'm wrong. Jas sadly lost her parents, and as a result she had to move in with her aunt Marnie. So I'm assuming one of her parents is Marnie's sibling. And likewise, another relative living with Marnie is Shane. Shane is a local employee of Joja Mart, and I believe he moved in from the city or something. But yeah, he is Jas's godfather, and he's also Marnie's nephew. You guys still follow? Anyway, I love how the character dynamic in Stardew Valley is very, very well developed. And I have to say, I've gotten to know Shane quite a bit, and I think that his character arc is one of the most beautiful I've ever seen. Like, I have such a soft spot for Shane. He comes across very snobbish, I guess, at the very beginning, but once you've gotten to know him, you'll discover very vulnerable and imperfect individual that's really struggling to find their place in the world. Wow, that was really deep. But I really loved being part of Shane's story, and I really loved being able to unravel who he is. It was such a beautiful experience for me. Jas, she is one of the only two children in the valley, and initially when you first meet her, she is very shy. She refuses to talk too much with you, but eventually once you've gotten to know her, you'll discover how really playful she is and how really appreciative she is of beautiful things like flowers and all of that stuff. And yeah, she's very good friends with her fellow child, Vincent. They're practically inseparable, and you'll always find them together with their grade school teacher, Penny. I don't know if she's actually a grade school teacher or not. Maybe caretaker. I think caretaker would be a better description for her. But yeah, overall, I just have such a soft spot for the characters living here. Also, this place is located directly south of your farm, so unwittingly you would find yourself pretty much passing by here many times in your playthroughs, just saying. But anyway, I feel like this would be the perfect time to talk about something, because obviously I'm pretty sure you guys noticed at this point that we're actually building in Windenburg, which is a little bit of a departure from pretty much most of my previous builds, which was built in Willow Creek, but this time we're doing things a little bit differently. We're building in Windenburg. The only other builds I've done so far on this series not in Willow Creek was actually Grandpa's farm, which is also in Windenburg, which is actually a lot not far away from where we're building right now. But basically, I thought this would be a good time to talk to you guys about why I chose the different lots and what was my rationale for doing so. Basically, I just wanted to choose lots that matched the surroundings they had in Stardew Valley. So some lots that were near rivers, I put them there. Some lots that were near the plaza, I put them in that kind of environment in The Sims 4. So I felt like a lot of Pelican Town would be perfect in Willow Creek. Some parts of Pelican Town will be built somewhere else, but I'm going to be talking more about that once we get there. But I felt like the farm area and a lot of Cindersap Forest would be great in Windenburg. So this is where you would find, of course, Grandpa's farm, but also places like Marnie's Ranch and Leah's Cottage, which is directly located south of your farm. So technically these guys are our next door neighbors in both Stardew Valley and in The Sims. So I kind of just had to keep that in mind while I was building this. So overall, I'm really happy with my lot choices so far. So yes, I really like the look of Marnie's house. It's one of the more unique looking houses. And let me tell you guys that out of all of the builds I've built so far in this series, I think this is actually one of my favorite ones. It just has such a unique look and style to it that really is super memorable. And it was such a joy to build this as well, especially like reminiscing about my personal encounters with Marnie and my awkward encounters with her and Mayor Lewis, which happened maybe a couple of times. So it always makes me smile. Seeing both of them really awkward and trying to cover up their relationship. But yes, I just really like this build, and I thought that the colors just looked really good. The exterior basically has this kind of like brownish yellow brick like stone texture, and then it has these red accents, which I thought was very beautiful. So yes, the roof is also slightly different from the ones that we've done in previous builds as well. This one actually, it's still a gable roof, but it faces the other way. So I think it gives the whole, the whole house a slightly different look and shape compared to anything that we've built so far. This is also one of the larger houses as well. That's why it's kind of like a longer video. It has 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and a very elaborate garden. Well, it's not really that elaborate, but it's quite a big, expansive garden. If I had the option, I would probably put this in a larger lot. But I thought that this lot was just perfect because it was just the right distance from where I built Grandpa's farm. It's also a good distance away from where I plan to build Leah's Cottage, which is literally the lot next to this one. So I thought that that was just a really good place to build everything. But it looks like right now we're working on the interior. So once again, I just tried my best to match all of the different rooms and all of the different wallpapers to kind of like get that genuine effect and that authentic look to how they had it in Stardew Valley, the game. But yes, I was struggling with this bathroom. I really had no place to put a bathroom, so I just put one there. Ideally, I would have liked to have had maybe one more bathroom, because I feel like, considering the fact that there's 3 people living here, I feel like having just one bathroom would be a little bit awkward, especially for Shane, because he's kind of like an outcast. I like to think that he always gives Marnie kind of like, he always stresses his Aunt Marnie out. Well, I'd like to think so. So maybe I think it'd be good for him to have a separate bathroom, but really though, who cares? But earlier you guys just saw me furnish kind of like the main shop area where, it's the entrance, and then, there's like a little counter checkout thing. cash register, there we go, that's the word that I was trying to look for. But yep, typically Marnie would look after that. You can buy animals and animal feed in Stardew Valley. Of course we can't do that in The Sims 4, but you know, it's always good to pretend. But next to that, to the left of that and outside Jas's room, is kind of like a storage area, which I don't know why it would be located inside of their house, to be honest. And directly outside Jas's rooms, but that storage area, if you actually look at it in Stardew Valley, it's actually filled with hay. Unfortunately, we don't have hay bales in The Sims 4 or anything remotely reminiscent of how hay looks. So I just put some crates instead and some barrels and some like food containers and stuff. So I feel like it got the point that I was trying to make, I guess. I'm not sure. I still think it works. So instead of putting different like hay bales, which we don't have in The Sims 4, and I refuse to use custom content. Nothing against custom content, I just personally choose to not use it in my game. Anyway, but yeah, I just put those like food crates instead, which I think still kind of carried on the message and the essence of what I was going for. But now we're working on Marnie's bedroom and the shenanigans that they would be having, Marnie and Mayor Lewis. I wonder what they've been up to. But I really do wish that Marnie and Mayor Lewis would have a happy ending. I really do. Even though I feel like Lewis would be maybe a little bit too old. I've actually made the sim for Mayor Lewis and I made him into an elder, but I think I'm gonna make Marnie into an adult because she really does look like an adult. I don't know why. I'm still holding on to that theory that, you know, Jas is actually hers and Lewis's illegitimate daughter. I don't know why. One of you guys actually talked about a potential, you know, romantic relationship between Marnie and Marlon, which never really crossed my mind when I was playing Stardew Valley. But you know what? I think it'd be interesting to actually see more of Marlon. He is one of the people from the Adventurers Guild. I always like to think of him as a swashbuckler, because he looks like a pirate with his, you know, eye patch and, you know, like all that's missing from him is literally like a parrot. But anyway, I think we are pretty much done with Marnie's bedroom at this point, and now we're working on Shane's bedroom. And okay, so we're probably treading a little bit into spoiler territory, but there's this one instance where Shane collapses and you help him out, and that just, I was like, wow. That was just such a beautiful moment. I really have such a soft spot for Shane. Like, really, I'm thinking of maybe marrying him once I start the Let's Play. The only thing is that I don't really know what profession to give him, because like for example, you know, if I choose to marry Maru, I think I would put her in the medical profession or the scientist profession. If I choose to marry Harvey, I would probably put him in the medical profession, or I would make him own like a vet clinic, which is practically the same thing. For Leah, I think she would be a sculptor or like a painter or something like that. If I choose to marry Abigail, I think she would be really good in social media. And yeah, like I don't know about I don't know about Shane though. Maybe I could make him own like a business now that I think about it. Because he does work in Jojo Mart, so I think maybe like he has some business skills, probably. I don't know, we'll see. But right now we're working on Jas's bedroom, and it is very, very full of toys and fun stuff. It's very, very feminine. It has a giant dollhouse. I would have been so jealous of this room as a child. It also has a giant blue teddy bear. How awesome is that? But yeah, I just kept it as close to how it looked in Stardew Valley as possible, and I have to say I really, really enjoyed decorating this room. There was a lot of fun, playful things that I was able to incorporate. But basically, I just want to talk to you guys more about the challenge. since we're approaching the point where I'm probably gonna have to like actually think of the rules and stuff for the challenge. But basically, I think that you're allowed to have as many children as you can, but you're not allowed to age them up either past childhood or teenagedom. I don't know why, but for me, I think when I have a kid, if I do the challenge, I think it'd be interesting if, they would have like a relationship with either Jas or Vincent. Like, I don't know why. I don't know. It's kind of sad to think of breaking up the two of them, but let's be real. Like, in real life, not many people actually get married to their childhood BFF. So maybe like somebody else could come over and, steal Jas away from Vincent, or the other way around. I don't know why. It's really interesting, but that's something that I'm really thinking about, and it's really fun to speculate on that. I really enjoyed furnishing Jas's bedroom. I actually really enjoyed doing this build in general. I just had a really good vibe from this place, but I think a lot of that is because I just really like the people living here, and who doesn't? Like, I think Shane is definitely like such a fan favorite. I've seen so many fan art of Shane. I don't know. He's definitely one of the people on top of my to marry list, if you guys get what I mean. Nudge, nudge. I don't know. I'm probably gonna make like a poll. And basically whoever wins the poll is the one that we're gonna marry. So that's not gonna happen for a while. I'm looking at maybe like a month from now the Let's Play is gonna start, because there's gonna be a lot of builds and I don't want to rush things. I just want to pace myself and actually make good looking builds for the series, because if I plan to play long term, I'd rather play in a beautifully made world with very rich and dynamic characters that reflect the one in Stardew Valley. So pretty much most of the interior is done at this point. You guys just saw me furnish the toilet, and it's pretty simple. There's lots of greens. There's lots of green color. But yeah, it's pretty much standard toilet furniture, nothing too crazy happening there. And of course, the nacho cheese colored ground texture makes a comeback. I also put this like beautiful, well, I'm not sure if it's beautiful or not, but I put this rock terrain paint in front of the door, because in Stardew Valley it made it look like the front of the door that Marnie has this like rocky texture or something, so I tried to copy that. And yep, I'm just pretty much trying to replicate the shape of the ground in Stardew Valley. So wherever there's ground, wherever there's grass, I kind of just try to replicate as much as I can. So yeah, I wish I could have made this kind of like pen / cow enclosure area a little bit bigger. That's like the only really thing I would probably change, but overall I was really happy. Like I said earlier, this is definitely like one of my favorite builds. Just the outside especially. I think that the outside is really awesome. I love the look of everything. I think it came together really nicely in the end. I think that for the interior so far, I really loved Pierre's. Actually, I really loved Pierre's general store, especially for the interior. But yeah, for the outside, it has a lot of clutter. Unsurprisingly, because Marnie, she does run a really busy looking home business, and I think that she probably receives a lot of shipment on like pet food and grain or hay or whatever. And of course, she's probably like struggling to find a place to keep all of those. So a lot of that is actually located outside of her house. And when you go to Stardew Valley, you would actually see so much stuff in front of her house. It's so funny. Also, I've actually tested this out, and I checked how it would look if we had the pennants hanging from the roof, and it was so beautiful. It was like, because I think in summertime, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe summer or autumn, Marnie's house, the roof has like hanging flaglets or pennants, so I thought that was really cool as well. Oopsie, you guys can hear my chair squeaking, apologies for that. But yeah, pretty much I'm just putting in all of the clutter items. There's really like so much clutter items outside, it's crazy. It took me so long. And right now we're putting in the trees. Now what's really interesting about this lot is that it had quite a couple of cherry blossom trees. Obviously for the spring. I think I mentioned this in a couple of other builds before, but I was going for like the springtime look of all of the builds or all of the houses or all of the locations. So the main season that I was looking at was springtime. Occasionally I will break that rule if I wanted like something in particular from another season, like for example what I did with the mayor's house and with Sam's house. I put like for Sam's house I put like the ivy outside, and that ivy only shows up in the summertime. For the mayor's house I put like the flagpole, and I believe that also shows up in summertime as well. Oh, I also forgot to talk about that wind spinner I put in one of the roofs of this, because they have like a little windmill / wind vane or something, and let me tell you guys, that spinner actually gets animated. It's one of the things that came with backyard stuff, and I feel like it's one of the things that I got really like it really gets neglected because they never really use that item that often. But pretty much finishing up the build by adding a little bit more detail outside. But I think that's pretty much it for this build, so I'm actually gonna go ahead and wrap up my commentary right here. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the series so far, and if you want to support the channel, please don't forget to hit that like, favorite, and subscribe button because it really helps out a lot. You all have an awesome day. Thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of the video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.